A very warm welcome back to the channel, and today there's a brand new Airbus aircraft order, and Air Canada is increasing its flying towards China. Why not begin with that big aircraft order? And it comes from Riad Air, who are for the first time in their history moving away from being an all-Boeing operator, and have been now named an Airbus customer following a hefty order taking place. The deal, which is valued in the billions, will see the purchase of 60 next-generation A321neo aircraft after confirmation was received between Airbus executives and Riad Air's CEO Tony Douglas. Riad Air is the latest company in the Middle East that is gearing up for a launch in 2025, and they even recently commenced crucial test flights to obtain the relevant authority approvals. However, up until this point, the company was an all-Boeing customer in its relatively short history. The A321neo purchase will bring the airline's total commitment to new aircraft to well over 100 units, and align with its target of having a route network that serves some 100 destinations by the turn of the decade. Riad Air has already incredibly ambitious targets, such as its future route network and also fleet, but it has vowed not to compete with Emirates or even Qatar Airways. Rather, it wants to forge a pathway of its own and become a true niche operator in Saudi Arabia. Does that mean it's going to be a small operation? Absolutely no, but what you can gather is the airline has ambitions to be something a little bit different. The airline's CEO Tony Douglas actually came across from fellow Middle Eastern carrier Etihad Airways, and in 2023 rejected claims that the airline would not be commercially viable as they look to expand aggressively before even operating a commercial service. Douglas believes there are endless possibilities with the new airline, such as attempting to offer one of the best onboard experiences seen right around the world. A great emphasis has been placed on the guest experience, even though they haven't carried passengers yet, and while it may be challenging and the beginning phase to excel at this, as you'll see maybe some teething issues, they believe the long-term focus will be on this avenue. The launch of the company further aligns with the kingdom's ambition of becoming a tourism hotspot in the next decade. To facilitate that, while investment obviously must be made to boost tourism and have a reason for people to come to the kingdom, having Riad Air launch is going to be crucial to foster connections, and this will be an important pillar. The purchase of the A321neo is labelled as another important step in the airline's development. Once delivered, it will complement the Boeing 787 aircraft, while also aiding net zero emission targets. All these new aircraft will increase Riad Air's ability to serve markets with initial destinations that have yet to be published. However, the airline has already warned of supply chain issues that could delay the delivery of certain planes over the next few years. Those very next few years I speak of are going to be fundamental to the airline's development and will no doubt attempt to pan out as smoothly as possible. Unfortunately though, smoothness within our industry seems to be a forgotten thing, thanks to a turbulent last half-decade, from a pandemic to other related issues. Moving over to EVA Air, who are plotting further international expansion in 2025, with destinations in the United States popping up once more in a bid to increase market share. The Taiwanese company has highlighted passenger routes from the likes of Boston, Washington DC and Dallas as all part of a schedule it wants to build upon for next year. Per local media, these other sided destinations could equally be part of the airline's route network in the coming years, as more aircraft begin being delivered. As expansion is being plotted, EVA Air still must be wary of the competition it faces between Taiwan and the United States, which is only set to increase. They believe, though, they're still one up on their competitor airlines and will be able to advance at a much more sustainable rate. Furthermore, the company sees robust demand levels for passenger transportation right throughout the remaining quarters of this year and into the next. Freight transportation has been another positive, and this has continued throughout 2024, with interestingly them saying that demand has not faded at any point, this backed up by their quarterly performance. EVA Air only recently announced that it would take on the A350-1000 in a move to expand but also renew its long long-haul wide-body fleet. As part of that, more routes towards North America will be made possible. The carrier hopes that the first A350-1000 will be delivered in 2027. However, by that point, you'd hope that Airbus will be able to adhere to the delivery timeframe and EVA won't encounter any turbulence. The A350, though, isn't the only addition to the airline's fleet that we will see. In the last year or so, rapid plans to grow have been stated on numerous occasions, from the A321neo to taking on more 787 Dreamliners. The airline, though, does remain very wary of current supply chain constraints and have said pretty publicly themselves that they don't expect this to conclude within the next 12 months, but will actually continue for the next 3 years. This to be a generous prediction. Over to the last story, and Air Canada has announced service expansion from its home country to China as part of an increase to meet overall demand. That's right, the flag carrier will resume daily service on January the 15th, 2025 from Vancouver to Beijing, and will also see frequency increase from Vancouver to Shanghai on December 7 of this year. Air Canada says the service to Shanghai will be increasing up towards daily and reflect the market's overall importance on their network. Air Canada's Beijing flights will operate as AC2930 with service departure from Vancouver at 11:40 in the morning and an arrival into Beijing at 5 p.m. The return leg departs as AC30 at 6:55 p.m, arriving into Vancouver at 2:05. Meanwhile, Shanghai flights will operate daily with an 11:15 departure from Vancouver and a next day arrival into Shanghai at 4 p.m. You can definitely see the similarities in terms of the schedule here, and Air Canada has given this service the flight numbers of AC2526. If you're after what aircraft type will be utilised on the route, well, to no surprise, it's the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. This plane is a real important pillar of its long-haul network and will continue to be long into the future, with the addition of the 787-10s on the horizon. Interestingly, this is an airline that has also made it abundantly clear that its future international expansion is going to rest on the availability of aircraft and when new planes can be delivered to facilitate growth. This is a company that has cited several locations in investor press conferences that it would like to recommence or commence flying to, but basically doesn't have the capability to do so as of yet. Launching this expansion towards China is an important market and shows that they're continuing to recover here following the pandemic. It'll be a big boost for all those that will benefit from the west coast of Canada to China and for also onward connectivity options. Thanks a lot for your support here on the channel. If you have any thoughts, please do not hesitate to let me know down below in the comments. Take care, do be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for your latest industry news.